Good evening, and welcome to Total Party Recap, TPK Roleplay's content, recap, and talk show. My name is Tyrant, and I am one of 3 hosts for this show. Joining me are Turk and Heck, your second and third hosts from now into perpetuity, and our very special guest, FoXXii. For all of you first-time viewers and listeners, let's go around the table and introduce ourselves very quickly, starting with Turk.
Hello everyone, I am Turk, or Turk Accented, or hey, that dude with the face with the thing. I am a player, GM, and occasional voice chat cult member. I'm sorry, I didn't mean cult member. I meant group activity.
Organization.
Person. Organization.
The word is organization.
And denier of Chrissy's accusations in chat. But I'm super excited to be here again to wrap up another wonderful week of all things TPK with you and yours, as we come and hang out and just have a fantastic time after a fantastic week full of so much gosh dang content. Ha! And yes, my shirt, jacket, hoodie is a green screen. Behold the art. Also, I'm eventually just going to show my belly button on stream. Anyway, I'm going to throw it over to Heck. I don't know how I do
what
it
a great
that.
time to transition.
Take the ball. That's what
it's
Coffee
mine.
told us.
Yep,
Take the ball.
That is what Saint told us to do. Hello, everybody. It's me, Sir Heckalite. We had a crazy week this week. We had some new faces. We had some new content and new streaming platforms even. Like, there was a ton of stuff that we did differently this week. Can't wait to jump into it. Let's heckin' do it. But first, let's let our guest introduce himself real quick.
Hiya, everybody. It's Young FoXXii, a.k.a. Big FoXXii, a.k.a. your favorite Fox. I don't ever get tired of doing that, by the way. It never gets old. And I don't even know what else to say except that I'm just so hyped to be here. We have so many things to talk about. So many. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so hyped, guys. I can't even get into this right now.
Where can we find you, FoXXii?
Oh, yeah. If you're looking for me, you can find me on the Twitter sphere at Young FoXXii. That's YUNG_FOXXII. I dunk on right-wingers and talk a lot of shit about random things. It's usually a good time. Please come around for content. And I'm so close to 600, so please get me there before Black History Month ends, which is in 4 hours. You have 4 hours to get me past 600, Twitter. 4 hours.
Do it.
You hear me?
And you have your own streaming community, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Wow, Ty, I'm so glad you're here. You're helping me actually do this. You can also catch me over on at Twitch TV here on Neon Lights Roleplay. It's the account that I'm typing in chat in right now. We currently play a cyberpunk red actual play called Neon Night City Lights. We're also adding in a D&D campaign called Seven Sons, which I wrote and will be GMing. And that launches next Saturday, so come see all that stuff. We're 11 followers from affiliate too, so 4 hours. 4 hours, okay?
I think
that's it. That's all I got. I got nothing else.
I don't think I forgot anything for FoXXii. But once again, I am Tyrant, GM, staff member, host, and player for TPK Roleplay. I am also now a variety streamer over on my Twitch, which is the same as my Twitter, at Dr. Tyrant. And I stream with Turk here for the most part, so come check us out if you're interested in just 2 goofballs playing video games.
Watch them abuse a shark.
Yeah, watch us abuse a shark, please.
Okay. He is in
Kevin did
need
nothing
of
wrong.
He did everything wrong, and he knows exactly what he's done.
He deserves every spear thrust. Listen, this week's episode will cover the content between February 22nd and February 28th. For those of you who have questions during the episode that you might want answered about some of the content or just have something you'd like us to talk about, please put it in chat. If you think it and you say it at the screen, We cannot hear. I know how convincing we are.
My telepathy doesn't
Trust
work
me.
right now, guys. I haven't eaten enough food today, so my energies aren't high enough to go telepathically right now. So you gotta type it out. I'm sorry for making you work.
I'm getting
Exactly.
something.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, okay. No,
Purple.
but please put it in chat so that we can respond to that. Really quickly, more corporate chilling. Hey, everyone. I know all of you have to be running low on coffee because I bought a lot of coffee and I am out. So, for those of you who need more coffee products, coffee adjacent products like mugs, or want some cool TTRPG merchandise, come check out Found Familiar. We are affiliates for Found Familiar, and if you scroll down on Twitch to our sponsors panel, you can click on the Found Familiar link there. You can scroll through all of that, look through all of their stuff, and then when you get to checkout, you can use discount code TPK, that's capital TPK, no spaces, at checkout for 10% off your entire order. You could spend $1,000, listen to me, $1,000 and get 10% off and save $100.
Yeah. That's
You're
technically
not
how
wrong.
math works.
Stomp.
You
No,
could also
but listen.
spend 100 and
Oh, I'm getting it up in here.
Listen, it's incredible. All of the coffee is incredible. I bought like 4 different types of coffee from them. Every single one has been amazing. Their merchandise is really cool. And if you want to give it for gifts, or if you want to get other people hooked on it, and those people aren't necessarily in the TTRPG sphere, by all means, just they have samples that you can send their stuff.
I
think Turk actually.
I sent it to my my parents. I sent a bunch of small samples. You get sample sizes, which is perfect because this is what you do. You send a bunch of samples to those coffee drinkers in your lives, unlike me, which is my parents. And I actually have a small review about Thieves' Cant. It says, Thieves was flavorful with undertones of late summer mornings. So thank you, Papa Turk. Thieves' Cant is certainly a favorite here on TPK, and with very good reason from what I've heard. And they're also really beautiful, and they're collectible. So
all of the bags of coffee come with variations of a central motif of art. So each bag that you get is most likely going to be different in the art from the next bag. So if you're a collecting kind of person, get the coffee from that, I guess. I don't know. The art's really cool. Anyway, that's enough about coffee. I mean, we can't ever have enough about coffee, but that I feel like we should probably get on with the show. So now that we have all the corporate chilling and the formalities and all of that out of the way, how about we dive in to tonight's episode? Hello, friends. How are you?
What's up?
I could not be feeling better right now. I feel like I'm still like riding a wave of like endorphins and caffeine from like the collective like weekend I've had of RPG stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
oh, dude, I bet.
I'll wear out at some point. I'm gonna hibernate for a while, but you know.
It is 100% that post excellent session high where you're just like, oh my gosh, how do you move on from this point? How do you, especially if you're GMing it, just like, okay, well, I'm going to hyper fixate on everything that kind of went wrong, but also just really bask in the general love and appreciation I'm getting.
Yeah,
just
that's kind of where I'm at right now. 100%.
I haven't experienced that. The second part, yeah, but the first part, definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely kind of doing both, where it's like I've gotten a lot of like there's a lot of positive feedback I've gotten, and like which a lot helps alleviate all the nerves I had leading up to it 100%. So like I'm in that weird space between like hyper focus on certain things I know I messed up on and just like be like, hey, you know, kid, you did pretty good. Let's stay there for a minute.
People seem to very enjoy it, and I can say I really enjoyed it as well. So I
Thank you. I appreciate that more than you know, genuinely.
I don't think you have anything to worry about, but also I know, speaking as a human being, that's an unreasonable thing to say to somebody because you're always going to be worrying about something.
A lot of things I worry about now that I think about it.
There's a lot of things that everybody worries about, but to counteract the worry, I want to go around the table really quick and just give me your, the whole rose thorn thing that people do, like,
all right,
like,
wait,
oh, I have this rose, but then I also have this thorn. I don't fucking care about the thorn. Everybody tell me
I'm back
what
in my
your
bunk
favorite
bed.
Fuck
moment.
the thorn.
Yeah, fuck the thorn.
Don't fuck the
I'm
thorn.
back
But you
in
know
my
what I
bunk
mean.
bed in
Wait,
Fairview
hold
Lake.
on. Please don't fuck the thorn. Let's not do that. That's a bad idea.
Hey,
Sounds-
we don't listen.
Well, unless you're
Hey,
into
man.
that, but
Don't kink shame though.
We,
It's not,
we,
it's
we
not
don't
even
kink
kink
we
shame.
don't kink shame. We don't kink shame. Fuck the thorn. Heck, what was your rose for this week?
Oh shit, man. Going right for me now that my face is all red from chat blowing up.
What was the one time you rose to the occasion?
Oh my.
Well, that's an
God.
entirely different question.
No, God damn. No, for this week. Yeah, I gotta say, like, this is kind of like a minor thing, but I got back into watching Critter Vision, and it's another Twitch channel here on this platform. And it's this little couple in South Carolina that have a trail cam mounted like somewhere in their backyard, and they just like broadcast all the wildlife that shows up in their yard, and it's really cool. It's great for bird watching in South Carolina, at least. Like, there's a little bit of difference from North Carolina, so it's really good. And if you're into watching trail cams at night, there are possums almost every night, and I love possums, so it's just really good. So that was definitely a rose. But then also getting back into streams this week, because I missed last week, and I was like, man, like I really miss being on here. And it was really good to like get back into it for Queen's Gambit this week, but we'll get to that later this stream. But yeah,
100%. Oh, dude, 100%. Being back in games and being active again, just it felt really good. I think my rose was doing something I didn't think I could do as well with and I don't mean to, it's our sister channel, so I don't feel too bad about it. But over on Nat 20, I was there with Roundhouse Whitebridge, and trying to follow up Roundhouse Whitebridge with Roundhouse Godswallow, and just being like, oh god, okay, that was really good. How do we do that? And having Saint say it was his second favorite session after Whitebridge is still pretty good. He said it's because of the novelty with the first one, to be fair, but it was a really good time. And additionally, getting to dive more into a new system that I've been really excited about, have a few plans for, and getting ready for this Monday session has been really special. And also get to hang out with all my fun Curse of Strahd friends again, which is always good. I got to be Barovia Boy this week. Barovia Boy is back. And I got to watch all the dark horror, and it was lovely. But yeah, it was just a bunch of good things happened this week. A bunch of fun outreach. I mean, for someone living in non-enforced isolation from the world, it's very good to have this community to turn to socialize. But I think get that human interaction. I waved to a dog today, and I was not sure who's. I pet a dog actually. It was a random dog walking through the street, and I hope they got home okay. Because they were just kind of on a mission to get into someone's backyard. I'm like, I hope that's your house. I'm not going to go into someone's backyard.
You're going home, bud.
I hope you're going home. Rosie, I hope you're home. That's all I have to say. Because you seemed like a very good dog. And like the scritches.
Oh, man. A rose. I mean, there's like the obvious one, and I'm trying to think of one that's not the obvious one. Oh, man. Let's see. I think if I had to give a rose right now, I would say I think my rose was I was having a pretty rough week between so much like doing a lot of prep for Saturday and being super worried about that, and also just a lot of other stuff going on related to like the setting and around it and around Black History Month and stuff that I'm sure we'll get time to talk about. And being super, super down, but I got to spend the like Friday, yesterday, right before the session, I got to spend some time with my girlfriend who like sat with me and just was like, hey, listen, you got this. Like you've been doing this for a while and everyone seems like they're super hyped to see this. Like, don't stress it. And like just having that moment with her of just like, hey, she has never played TTRPG ever, but like she cares about all my stupid nerdy hobbies. So for her to just be like, hey, listen, I see you've been losing your mind about this. Don't stress it. It was a very, very needed moment of levity that if there's like a small thing I take from this weekend, I think that was that. Let's go with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Support.
Before we jump into the shows, my rose was sitting down and watching 5 to 6 hours of Luca Locke, Chrissy Crits, listen, hold on. Luca Locke, Sarah X Franco, and the newly rebranded Chrissy Crits, who we all know as Callie Numbers in chat.
Callie Numbers may not be in chat, but Callie Numbers forever in our hearts.
Yes,
Chrissy
Crits is here and is ready to play video games, and was very apparent because on Friday, I sat down and watched like 5 to 6 hours of those three playing Jackbox games and Don't Starve together, and it was
so good.
so amazing,
The
so
squad
cathartic.
stream was just chaos, but it was so good. It was positive chaos. That's what I like to call it. It's
The
positive
best kind of
chaos.
Positive chaos.
Listen, it's important. It's important that we recognize our community members and our GMs whenever they go off and do incredible things. And Chrissy got on her first stream, got her first raid, had a bunch of other things happen. So congratulations to Christy for her incredible first stream. And you better not quit. Do
Don't
not quit, Chrissy.
Please. It was so good.
But hey, speaking of firsts, let's jump into our first content episode, whatever you want to call it, for tonight.
What do you call this?
What do you call these things we do?
I don't know. I'm just some random bum they found on the street. Listen, speaking of firsts, we had our first ever live stream to YouTube last Monday.
Heck yeah, we did.
Because of this, your boy doesn't know how to operate heavy machinery or light machinery, and wasn't able to find a clip because YouTube be difficult. However, I will tell you a little bit about killer kobolds from outer space.
Space.
The final frontier.
Thank you, Fox.
There wasn't enough emphasis on space for me. I'm sorry. We had to fix that.
Yeah, thank you.
An echo.
Yeah, listen. It was so unclippable that Purple Phil
The
could
clip
not
master?
clip.
The clip master couldn't clip it?
No, but we
TPK
saw his
clip
wonderful
master
face
of
for the first
hitting
time
the
ever.
clip.
It was the best.
Yes, we saw Purple Phil's beautiful, wonderful face for the first time ever on Monday, and it was amazing. Now we just need to get Mr. Rogers to jump in and play some
Soon.
games.
Soon, TM.
Soon.
Very
It's
soon.
on the schedule, guys.
It's
on
on
the
the
schedule.
schedule.
Listen, Killer Kobolds from Outer Space, what can we say? It was a bunch of crazy, zany, wacky kobolds with like 7 to 13 HP each. Getting squished, maimed, mangled, burned, electrified, zapped, bitten,
Eaten by pigs.
Torn apart across all realms of existence.
Yeah.
Liquefied and deliquefied. Just for like, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours. And Luca just showing her inner sadist and murdering our beautiful, sweet little characters.
Question for the class.
Yeah.
What does
Yes.
being de-liquefied look like?
You dry out like a mummy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Can't imagine.
Happened to 5 of my cousins. Not good way to go.
Deliquification.
Brack.
That is a good question, Foxy. Deliquification depends on how it became liquid in the first place.
Exactly. I feel like that should matter, you know?
Yes. I think if I was going to clip something, there are so many different things to clip. For instance, the 15 to 17 deaths that happened on stream.
And everything that chat is saying right now that they did, because that, yes, all of
100%.
those things are accurate.
All these things happened.
Tried to kill a
happened.
daycare, but did not succeed. That's the first thing I see when I look over.
I'd like to congratulate Last HP Hero for being the last kobold alive who then died when he showed up with not adequate loot for the Kobold Queen.
But, you know, at least he made it back to the ship.
Queen.
You know, that's gotta
Yeah,
offer something.
sure, but you know,
Listen, it was a very, very fun,
It sounds like a good
interesting
time.
experience.
it was.
It was a really cool experience for our first YouTube live stream. It actually did really well in our stuff.
In the numbers?
It
In our
helped.
numbers.
It definitely helps
In
out
the
15
number
players.
books?
Yeah. So yeah, no, it was a great experience. Because we
Kill
don't
the
have a
man with
clip.
Turnips.
Because we don't have a clip, I would like to go around really quick and talk about how each of us died.
I wasn't there.
Yes.
So you
I
were
died
dead from the
laughing in
start.
chat
I
because
did.
I
That
didn't
did
have to go
happen.
through that.
Oh heck, you weren't in that too? Oh well, that's
Well,
Yeah.
I can go into more
It's
detail.
like-
I died twice, so I can cover.
yes. So
Turk,
Turk,
Turk will
can
cover it. Let's go.
one of you guys. So I died first in the first 10 minutes.
Yes,
of the
you did.
episode. As I was running down the street, a giant wood chipper magically appeared, and a group of civilians were pushing it down, and I was able to throw some levers really quickly as I was being shoved into this wood chipper, which, because of me having 5 hit points,
Oof.
I was immediately churned into goo.
Ah.
Which, upon dying, my kobold explodes.
Nice.
So
Love that.
it's great. And the levers that I threw the blue lever, which my item that I was given, the only description was this thing has levers, and when you pull the red or the blue lever, something red or blue around you explodes.
Huh.
So I pulled the blue lever,
Mm-hmm.
and the closest blue thing was Dev's character.
Yeah.
which unfortunately was not enough to kill him, unfortunately. But we did have a nice little, oh, my scales are exploding now moment. So that was,
God,
that
that's
was
Mindy did nothing wrong.
poor Mindy.
Oh God.
Mindy got brutally ruined. But so I had 2 characters, and you may be wondering, how is that possible? Did Turk seduce the GM or something? And I say to that, not yet. But in actuality, I had my first character, Whelp, who is a very fluent conversationalist and really charmed the pants off of everybody. Had a valiant career. When it seemed like a brave Barovian villager was going to catapult a flaming hot spear into the giant gelatinous cube and ignite all the explosives, Whelp bravely grabbed it, shoved the point into the ground, and pole vaulted that fellow into the gelatinous cube, at which point he was digested, and then took that flaming spear and was running and leading the gelatinous cube away until someone shot through the gelatinous cube, exploding all the contents, at which point Whelp perished. But
Nobly.
Nobly, for the good of the queen and the team. However, he did have a cryogenics tube, and so broke it and began his regeneration process, and went from Dr. Kobold 1 to Dr. Kobold 2.
Of course.
At which point he became Squitz.
Ah.
Squitz had was always constantly adjusting a bow tie that was never there, and was also happened to suck up all of the biomass needed in order to power the ship. Which brought us to our secondary location, where, of course, Squitz entered a room, hit a red button, turned to the brainy person in the group, said Squitz, and then was simultaneously transferred across all times and relative dimensions in a small space. So, yeah.
One time I did shrooms and it kind of felt like that, so I can imagine.
Did you also take 126 damage?
In my brain, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I think Squid's had the most damage done to a kobold in one go.
I think so too.
Everyone else died, but I think I killed it.
I would like everyone in chat who played in Killer Kobolds to take to Twitter really quick, and using hashtag TPK Kobolds, describe your character's gruesome death.
Can we do
tagging?
Can we do TP Kobolds?
TP Kobolds, yes, TP Kobolds, and tagging Luca Locke, who is the person who brutally murdered your babies, and TPK Roleplay because, stats, stuff like that.
Can't wait to scroll those later. That'll be fun.
Yeah. So if you want to check those out later,
timeline
they'll be TP Kobolds. The hashtag is posted in chat. Purple, you have to download Twitter. Go do it.
Get Twitter. We'll follow you.
Oh boy. Okay.
This is something that we have preached from day one. If you were a player, you must have Twitter.
It's really handy just to be able to
It's a
engage
fun
the community
time.
further.
It's funny, I actually recently ranted at the players in my Cyberpunk game for the same thing, being like, well, 'cause one of us has like no social media, and I'm like, we're gonna have to fix that at some point. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Especially with the growing community, people want to engage with you more and more. I mean, 100%.
Mhm.
You need.
You can't hide from us forever.
Mm-hmm.
wow, can't happen.
That was very ominous, but
For
I
those
just
of
want to
you-
love you more. I
For
promise.
those of you who want to follow Purple Phil on Twitter, his handle is @PurplePhil. So
There you go.
check that out.
Perfect.
Hey, so that was Killer Kobolds, which was, if you didn't know, was a Channel Point Redeem community reward for 100,000. Was it 100,000? 150? Something like that.
It was a large amount of.
It was
channel
a
points.
large amount of
insane.
channel points that we crushed in, I believe, a day.
Yeah, I think so too.
So we're going. I don't know if we're going. I can't say this for sure, but I want to do something like this again. A channel point redeem reward for the community where we have Luca Locke or someone else run something like Killer Kobolds, because that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
You say
100%.
Oh, I'm not wearing glasses. Oh my god!
someone else, you say, anime glasses player.
Those of you who watch the show, you know I always wear glasses. I legitimately just
All right,
reached
this
up
is
to
what
pull
we're
down
doing.
the
Hold
bra.
on.
Yeah, I realized I was the only glasses wearing person today. I was like, whoa, that's a little strange.
I can get my
Hey.
sunglasses for
I
my
can do that.
for my
What's up?
God Swallow character, but
Oh no, we've got Luca going in chat. Oh no.
but anyway, hey, speaking of deadly scenarios, Ty, do we have any other shows where a bunch of people could have potentially died but didn't?
Well, yes, and we also had another show where the episode before, everyone did die.
Okay, dying is a really strong word.
I mean,
Technically,
Well, at first
They
you were
made it.
afraid,
Most
you were
of them did.
petrified.
exactly.
Kept thinking
Okay.
we could never live without Cole and Proper by our side.
listen,
If you didn't
We
know,
spent so many
we're
nights
talking about Beyond the Undergrowth,
Being made of
our
Thinking
stone.
Tuesday show.
what we had done wrong, but Luca and Chrissy came along, and we learned how to get along,
How to save a frog?
and now we're back
oh no.
from the outer space
From the jungle place?
to a jungle place.
I got you. That's what I'm here for, man.
Hey, Foxy.
The back and forth. You feel me?
Foxy, I'm gonna need you to go and write a parody of that song.
Oh no! Please
I'll
don't
fix
ask me
you
to
up.
write parodies. I already have to write a D&D WAP parody. No, with Al. Oh no! Don't give me more of
You'll be
these.
in some stiff competition. You got some TPK WAP as well.
Oh
Wow,
lord!
wow,
That we
wow.
do.
Mm-hmm.
That was so scuffed. Oh no, that's
It
a
was
thing
a
that
lot.
exists on the
It was,
internet
it was
somewhere.
something. It sure happened though.
Hey everyone,
It's pinned.
we are talking about Tomb of Annihilation, or more specifically, Beyond the Undergrowth. And I have a very special treat for you, because all of the other characters were petrified in stone for a lot of the session.
A bit.
A bit. I reached out through the interdimensional highway, and I interviewed one of the new characters for this show.
Ooh.
I got this recap directly from Kami, Lukalak's character. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the subtle nuances of the things that Lukalak let slip
I'm so ready.
in this interview.
I am so ready.
Kami and Seven arrive via airship to Port Nyanzaru. Did I get that right? Is that it? Nyanzaru? FoXXii,
Yeah,
I'm looking
you
at
got it.
you.
You're good.
Okay.
You're on point.
Okay. I almost said Nyan Cat because why not? But like, it's fine.
No. I didn't realize how many years it's been since I thought of that. Oh my god. What is it?
They are directed to a local noble's house where they find the statues of the former party members. Then they are told there is a lady that can help them transform those party members back from stone. They travel out into the jungle and find this lady and Toby the crocodile.
He was there. I saw it.
He was there. And she takes them back using the Avatar Life is Connected method of travel through the trees. She transforms everyone back except Tell, who does not seem to want to come back, or so she says.
That was sad.
And she tells Kami that she knows where the source of the death plague might be, but she does not want to give up that information until the party goes in and retrieves a tooth from some feathered creature in the jungle. Kami doesn't trust her and calls her self-serving. She reveals herself to be a fox-like creature of the Fae. They travel out into the jungle, but before they go, Kami gets a return transport item from this Fae creature. They go out into the ruins of Omu to find this beast, and Kami gets involved in some sort of sacrifice ritual, breaks it up. There's a fight. And now she has some little frog man following her around, and she's not sure if she made the right choice. But we have the moment where Kami saved this little frog man as our clip for this episode. So please enjoy.
Hell yeah, we do. Second. Ooh, come on, you can load for me.
All the Vegapygmies will like gasp.
Right.
And the Grung will just like grovel after feeling that he's not like bleeding and like, you know, you didn't just disembowel him. And yeah, he just grovels at your feet, and the chieftain will point his spear at you and yell something that sounds like leaves.
Yeah, I'm a little sad that Tony didn't go in for the fully, but like, you know.
I love the imagery that's depicted here. What exactly? Can we get a consensus on this show? What does the sound of leaves sound like?
Well, it depends. Are there like, is it heavy wind blowing, or is it like a soft fall crunch?
So if we're going for like the metaphysical route here, leaves don't really have a sound, right? If you said the sound of falling leaves, that's once. The sound of crinkling
it's all
leaves,
about the
that's another.
friction.
I think
honestly.
I think it's 100% leaves rustling in the wind.
Yeah, my thought was leaves like crunkling, like crunkling,
Yeah.
crinkling.
Crunkling, it's a word.
Yeah.
Now.
I had leaves crunkling in my head, but I thought about that. That's what I was going for.
Well, they have to be older leaves, and they're not your leaves. They're your father's brother leaves. So like, you know.
Yeah.
So swoosh crunch is what I'm hearing.
Swoosh crunch.
Yes, swoosh
Swoosh
crunch.
crunch.
Swoosh crunch.
Sure.
Swoosh crunch.
So this is canon, okay? Because we here at TPR have that power.
Yeah,
Okay.
look at what happened.
As a member of the cast, I can officially make that call.
Yeah. Swoosh crunch
Swoosh
is
crunch.
the sound that was made.
There it is.
Yeah.
Swoosh crunch sound of my heart because
Why?
Oh my God. If a leaf
I've been
falls
a
in the
horrible
forest.
influence on you.
Oh no.
If a leaf falls in the forest and no one around is able to hear it, does it still swoosh crunch?
Well,
Or
I mean,
seven.
the beat goes on. No. So yes.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
What have I done?
Science says it right
I
there.
did this.
But yeah, no, I love that
Hey,
little
Foxy.
rescue.
Hey Foxy, since
bud.
you're in this campaign,
Yeah.
how about you tell us a little bit about your character?
Oh, sure. The character I only recently found that I was still playing. So I guess as it stands currently in Tomb of Annihilation, I am playing Shairaz Drasheli. He is a lizard folk beast hunter from the far southlands of the South Isles, very, very far from the known world. His profession is sort of traveling around and hunting rare beasts for the sake of bringing coin and resources back to his family on the Isles to build wealth. In particular, he ended up on Chult hunting a white Ankylodon that he was going to hunt for a contract. And then bring the skull back to his lady. He ended up getting captured by goblins, but then a random group of adventurers came across and managed to bargain for him and his stuff. And he went, you guys are some cool cats. So we hung around with them for a bit and then, then got turned to stone not too long afterwards. But yeah, so Shairaz is in a pretty fun spot because he just acquired these two very interesting gems he was planning on putting in the skull of the Ankylodon to give to his wife. Oh, she'll love it. And the Medusa that then turned us to stone was bargaining for those gems. And Roz was very, very in the middle of a split decision on, do I want to give these up? And that choice got kind of made for me when I was turned to stone. So yeah, that's kind of where Roz is at right now. He's having some mixed feelings about that. But there's now a bigger dinosaur for me to maybe
There you go, exactly.
Very true. It just the second that Tony said a lizard folk man is like holding out his hands with nothing in them, I just was like, no, why?
I was like, oh, that's gonna
Do
be a
that, Tony. I understand why, but why? But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, TOA was the first thing you were in TPK, correct? Like, tell us a little bit about that. Like, I don't think we really have a story of how you like got into TPK. Like,
it's actually
like I connected the dots between like you and Last HP, I think, but that's all I've got.
That's basically how it happened. So, how did I meet Last HP? So, my intro into like D&Ding online, I guess like the RP community came from Josh Valor, who randomly hit me up and was like, hey man, do you want to be in a one-shot with some other people on Twitter? And that's how I met Alicia, who was in the Starfinder one-shot last night. That's how I met Tate, who GMs Cyberpunk for us. That's how I met a bunch of other people. And I think just like through general like followers on Twitter, I got cool with Last HP. Seemed like a super cool guy. I was talking to him. We had a bunch of random like back and forth moments on Twitter. And then he just kind of DM'd me one day and was like, hey, I'm in this awesome community full of people who do roleplay stuff. You should hop in. And that was kind of how I just like hopped into the TPK server, and I was immediately just welcomed with a bunch of like super cool people who were talking to me about stuff. And then I was looking around the website like 2 days later, and there was like, here's an app to be a player. And I was like, that doesn't seem like a hard thing to do. Why not? And then no lie, like the next day after that, they were like, hey, we're looking for extra person for Tomb of Annihilation. And I was like, I have nothing better to do.
Perfect.
Oh, well.
Since you bothered to ask so nicely, sure.
Basically, right? Why not, right? Like, how does
that just kind of it all happened naturally, and so yeah, that was kind of how that happened for a bit.
Let's just take a moment to recognize what has happened since Foxy has entered. He has joined the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
He has been an incredibly valuable member of this community.
Mm-hmm.
2 campaigns, yes. Thank you, Rick. He is extremely active, not only in chat, but also in the Discord. He also is a part of this so-called general chat cult, or sorry, not
Voice
cult.
chat cult?
Voice
I've been indoctrinated. They took me in too fast. I got in 1 minute day, and I was like, oh no, I should get out of this now, and it was too late by then.
The
That's
VCC, as they call it, and he's now GM'd his first game for TPK.
It happened.
It's. Reality. I mean, how long have you been with TPK, Foxy?
Oh my! How long has it been?
That's the problem.
Hang on, I can tell you specifically. Give me a second. I can find the GM I got from Last HP, being like, hey, you should join TPK. I can find it. Hold up. I'm gonna find it. Give me like a minute.
I will say I don't blame you for not having that.
Nope, I can find it though. Oh, let's see. Since November 3rd was when I got the invite.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
4 months.
4 months.
4 months. How crazy is it that it's been 4 fucking months?
I try to work fast. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's been so much longer. Like I feel like I've known you guys for years. Like
yeah. That's nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of all just felt really comfortable. Like I don't know. I've bounced between a couple different like communities of like role play and other different like nerd stuff from like Warhammer 40K and all kinds of stuff. And like there was always sort of a need of like of this place where I kind of always felt a little bit othered of like, all right, maybe I'm cool with these people, but I never really felt like I could just kind of open up and be myself. And like TPK was kind of the first space I felt like comfortable in that, where like everything from like my goofy jokes to my occasional random talks about rap to my random political rants here and there, like everyone just took it all in, and I was like, wait, I think I found all my best friends. Like, and I don't know, it's been a ride since then, and I can't wait to do more. Like,
my heart.
TPK
cry.
TPK has that effect. You know what I want? Someone who's good with Photoshop. Can you get all of the? Can you find like a bunch of TPK members' profile pictures, like of their real faces, and then can you make a oh god, what's it called? What is the movie with Jack Nicholson? The Shining. Make a Shining portrait for us.
It's like TPK.
You've always been here. Come play with us, FoXXii.
Here's roleplay.
Forever and ever and ever.
The real
hey,
TPK.
You got me now. I got nowhere else to be.
There are even enough fake blood from what I put on my face.
Speaking of breaking through doors and horrible things happening to people, what about Darkest Night, Brightest Light? What happened this week?
Hello, everyone. It's me, Barovia Boy, here for part 1 of my... No, I might step into Barovia. Hold on, I'm going to have a microphone in front of my face now. So, Darkest Night, Brightest Light, they are a more advanced campaign in Curse of Strahd. They have been in the Wizard of Wines area for 3 or 4 sessions now. A lot of stuff has happened. A lot of intercardia dynamics have been tested. A lot of things have been strained. This session is no exception. There was a breaking of bonds. There was a character facing down their greatest foe and having to turn away. There was all the key aspects that make Curse of Strahd the kind of not necessarily terror-filled, but anxiety-building, we are not prepared, but we must push on anyway kind of session. And, well, now the party's face-to-face with the eponymous figure himself. That big old incel. That
We're
damn...
not allowed to say that on Twitch anymore. It's fine, I don't care of it.
Wait, you're not allowed to say that on Twitch anymore?
I'm pretty sure you can't.
Oh.
It's fine.
Well, dang.
It's
We can come up with better
Hi,
terms.
YouTube.
How
Yeah.
about fuck boy?
That literal
How about
big... Oh, well, see, we
asking
have to
for
fuck.
nudes via
person.
mail.
Yeah,
Fuck boy
I
is
showed you
definitely-
my castle. Please respond. Like,
How about wasp with fangs? How about that?
Oh, dude, the waspiest of wasps. So waspy he can't be in direct sunlight. So waspy he conquered another land to be more waspy.
Oh,
Kind
okay,
of
so we
wasp.
are going with that definition of wasp. I didn't want to go hard already on the political meeting.
So somehow
No,
that
religious,
version of wasp.
yet
Okay, cool.
somehow
Thank
also
you.
sacrilegious.
We're tired of that guy.
Fuck Strahd. All my homies.
All my
hate
homies
Strahd.
hate Strahd.
Oh, my homies hate Strahd. Very good.
Oh no.
Anyway,
I feel when you break all 3 of those.
but yeah, they're face to face with Lord Strahd of Barovia, Strahd von Zarevich, son of what's his face and so and who gives a shit, Lord of being a douchebag and faffing about in the background and doing all these useless things, while cooler people have done a lot of cooler things. But one thing I do want to focus on is that breaking of bonds moment, because for the past 2 sessions or so, we've really seen. I mean, we've been in the same spot. They've been clearing out this winery like step by step. It's been a siege almost at this point. Okay. Well, I'll address that question later, Magic. I will get to that. But I will say, like, you know, we did have this kind of moment where we have a character, Uther, who has been thus far very, I will take all means I can get to destroy Strahd, because that's the goal. The goal has always been to destroy Strahd, remove the threat from this land, and provide Toby, his adoptive son, the safe place to grow up that Toby deserves. But like, he has had this thing, this root embedded deep into his arm and body as a weapon. They took it out of Corndog's character, and at that point was like, and Uther took it on. And it was like, well, is Uther going to use this forever? I mean, how far is he willing to sacrifice? Of course, this is all played by the wonderful Noir Enigma, who brings that next level to everything. But this session, we saw something very interesting happen. A new decision was made. And I have a clip for that. I'm going to show you, because I think it's just fantastic work. So I'm just going to play the clip once it loads.
Words rather than just emotions. And the words you feel are, "Daddy, why?" And then you can pull.
Can I help?
Everyone can pull if you'd like.
I mean, I'm actually fairly strong.
He is going to say in his head in response, "Because you're not Toby."
Oh.
And then he pulls.
Go ahead.
You're not the
17.
son I wanted.
17.
Yeah. So it's this beautiful, moment of Uther, like, it's very interesting. We've been watching, if you're me and you've been watching every episode of Darkest Night Bracelet, you've been watching Uther have to walk this line between, I mean, is he going to take on every advantage he can to kill Strahd to his own and his party's detriment, or is he going to, like, pull back and try to work with the group? Because the group kind of wants to take this in a certain way. They want to protect Irina. And Uther has stated to Strahd's face, no less, he would cut Irina's head off and give it to him, just to piss off and get at Strahd. And that dynamic has been very interesting to watch. And this kind of, I mean, it kind of feels like we're getting towards a really big moment here. So I'd encourage everyone to tune in next time. But you really should watch this episode to get into this. Now, if we're going to touch on what I think of Strahd, let me get my notes here.
Real quick, before what you think of Strahd, I think this episode definitely marks a key change in personality and and character dynamic for Uther. Like, if you go back a couple episodes, 2-3 episodes, I don't think Uther would have shown that restraint. What do you think was the key to Uther showing that level of restraint?
Well, for one, every single member of the party being like, hey, it's kind of fucked up you let this get into your arm and dig into your system. And sure, it's cool, you have control over all the twig blights and they're taking care of you. You know that's fucked up, right? And it's going to kill you. And him having to deal with, like, honestly, here's the thing. And HP's pointing out, he had 4 hit points left and no rages left. Mm-hmm. He was in a bad way. And I think, and I don't want to speak for Noir's character development, but from what I've seen thus far, in my interpretation of his, he had to have thought of Toby in that moment, especially for calling that out, right? He had to think of the small child back in the orphanage, back safe, waiting for his father to return, and what And I think for once he's finally thinking of something beyond just killing Strahd, and that is the kind of beautiful shit I love about TVK, because it's just the soft, quiet character growth that's not delivered via monologue.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking lovely.
Just like at its core, like I think it's humanity. Just like based on the other Darkest Night, Brightest Light cast members that we've had on TPR, like all of them to an extent have mentioned a concern, like their character's concern for Uther. Like they like had a real like come to terms moment, like especially like
everyone has had a moment where there's like, hey Uther, can you not?
Yeah, and
while,
like they're worried, and they should be. And yeah, it's really interesting to see them like appeal to his humanity in that way. So like at its very core, I think it's partially that too.
I think there's something like a lot that can be said about that, like in terms of like a character arc. It's one thing for a character to sort of like recognize their own humanity and their own sort of internal things. It's another for like in the moment before they recognize their own humanity to recognize that other people have been seeing this in them all along. Like there's a really, really beautiful moment you can ride there, and I think having seen the clip and like watched that episode, it was super, super well played by Noir. Like just like that full on that moment of realization where it's like, oh wait, I'm the idiot that hasn't caught on to the fact that people that like I'm a good person yet. What? Like there was such love to it, and I felt like I don't know, I was such a big fan of that moment. Like
100%. It's just.
I was watching that, just hobbling snacks in my face, like holy fuck.
Noir again.
Oh my god.
Watching for the rest of the party, obviously, but Noir really does do this wonderful, driven character who realizes there are hooks in him to tether him to this world. If I think, gosh, was it 2 sessions ago or last session? There was literally a magical interference, a trial, where Uther was like, I am a weapon to destroy Strahd. You are all tools to achieving that goal. And to see it kind of flip on that and kind of see him acknowledge it, I'm very interested to see where not only the rest of the party goes, because the rest of the party is also doing fantastic work, but this, in a lot of ways, this story of Curse of Strahd is a lot of it centered around Uther kind of having to figure out what comes next after killing Strahd. I 100% guarantee you, if Uther could light himself on fire to ensure the entirety of Strahd's organization burns to the ground, he would. Yeah. But I'm not sure if that's the truth anymore.
Yeah.
And, okay.
We do have another thing to recap before we go to break, and something special.
Can I just say?
But I do want to know what your thoughts are on Strahd.
All right. I will keep it quick.
Proceed.
I will keep it real quick. Strahd is the whitest, most colonizing, most simp, most. Just,
that's another one you can't say, but it's
really,
fine.
Really,
he hit both of them. He hit both of them. No words.
Anyway, like
you can't just hit one, hit both.
Imagine lusting after your own brother's wife so hard, you not only kill your best friend. You not only kill your brother, you end up literally killing everyone you ever cared about, including the person you were trying to get in the first place.
Well,
and like, I mean, you doom your entire land to a cosmic perpetual cycle of reincarnation just so you can constantly get cock-blocked by random-ass disease and death. Like, Strahd's never gonna get
half of that. I was like, okay, about half of that happened in the Bible, but then the second half didn't happen.
Strahd is never going to get.
It comes down to this.
Talk that talk. Talk it. Talk that talk.
It comes down to this, all right? Friends do not bite friends. Friends may nibble on friends, but friends do not bite friends. And Strahd is not friends.
Friends.
Like FoXXii said, all my homies hate Strahd.
All my homies hate Strahd.
If you're sitting there being like, oh, Strahd's such a dark, tragic character, you are not realizing the inherent toxicity of that behavior. And it
is a problem that is rampant in fiction of sad, white, fail sons being and having massive fan clubs of just like, oh, this poor tragic baby. I wish someone got him. I wish someone gave a fuck about this absolute entitled, unapologetic. Oh God!
Well, see, that's the thing. That's why I encourage
people. It's the Sasuke
people.
problem. It's the Sasuke Uchiha problem.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 100. Oh my gosh, yes, 100%. Oh well, see, here's the thing. If Sasuke Uchiha was like after Hinata or something the whole time.
Like it's just so weird and it doesn't make any sense. But like it's the Sasuke problem of like this character is horrible. How do you go 700 issues of him being horrible and being nah? Just give him a second. I'm sure he'll come around. Just give him. He's only betrayed all his best friends, murdered his brother, and still continues to hate the people who only try to.
The best thing that happened to Sasuke was him losing his arm and getting punched in the goddamn face.
The best thing that happened to Sasuke was him leaving the plot.
And here we are talking about anime. I knew it was going to happen.
It's already happening.
But for real though, Strahd is one of these characters that has been romanticized because I feel like people came in from this Twilight perspective of this immortal person trying to perpetually connect with a human and failing, but also they don't recognize that like someone trying to constantly win you. Okay. I was actually talking about this today. Like someone trying to pen in someone's life, right? This is some Beauty and the Beast type shit, but the Beast doesn't change at the end. The Beast is just trying to keep someone in that little perfect little box they've made for them, and it's like that person is a more complex person than the little box you created. Nothing better personifies the relationship between Strahd and Irina, and the fact that Strahd has a portrait of Irina in his fucking castle, and that is the idealized version of her to him. Is always just going to be a beautiful thing to look at and a beautiful thing to just acknowledge and have as his own, like a fucking treasure. She's just another thing to him, but it's a thing that won't be his. Mm-hmm. And he thinks he's the only one who can recognize the true inner beauty of this object. And that's just not true. Irina's a full, independent person. Katharina was a full, independent person.
It's not even an obsession with her. It's an obsession with his image of himself as the perfect lover. Like, in his mind, just the fact that he's created this image in his head where it's like, not only is this woman perfect, but because she's so perfect, only I could love her properly.
Because he's the best.
Anything like less than that is an affront.
He is the conqueror of Barovia.
Exactly. Like it's literally not even an obsession with her. It's complete self-obsession. Your self-obsession is so like self-consuming. You've consumed other people in it. Like you've drawn other people into this self-absorbed world you live in, where it's like not only are you the greatest person to ever walk on two fucking legs, but like anyone who doesn't recognize that you are the greatest person to walk on two fucking legs and therefore give you everything you've asked for is like they've lost the plot. They got it wrong. Like
I think this what Lucas bring up in chat right now. I'm not sure about the ending, what the ending with Sergei means, but I will say, like I think. The reason, yeah, exactly. So Irina, sure, the reincarnated soul of like the love of Strahd's life and the bride to be of Sergei. Irina's her own person in this adventure.
Exactly.
And oh my god, like I said this on Valentine's Day, but like 100% Sergei would be like. If Sergei was perpetually reincarnated or whatever, and was just like, oh god, like you were my former bride to be, like, but you're not, because sure, Sergei's a little dumb, but Sergei is like got the heart to be like, you're your own gosh dang person, and if you like me, great. If you don't, fine, whatever. Anyway. We're talking about a different show now.
Really, really quickly, I do want to point out something that was said in chat that needs to be addressed. Consent is key.
Yeah. Consent is sexy as shit, man.
And
necessary.
Listen, consent is key, and you cannot say that a vampire requires consent because they can mind control you, which is like the most fucked up thing out there. So like for those of you, I know there is no one in chat who romanticizes Strahd, but it needs to be said.
All I'm
Consensus
saying is, Straw can't come around my way. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
He can't walk through my hood. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm putting
My
out.
homies hate straw.
All my homies.
Straw.
It's on site. It's
All
on
my
site for him.
homies
I'm
hate
saying it's
Straw.
on site. Like,
Proceed and reveal exactly what would occur, Strahd.
I'm just, not a.
I don't
So,
know. Speaking of traveling to another topic, we had a travel episode of Queen's Gambit this week, and it was great. It was a good time.
Nice.
Listen,
A beautiful transition.
can
No.
segue
Keep going.
Like, go.
yeah, no, it was a travel episode, which was really good. Like, it's been a very nice change of pace, going from, not even 0 to 60, just starting at 60 with a town on fire and having to track a cult and a dungeon crawl and like all of that. Like, it was like a whole thing. But now, having 2 sessions of like more like downtime time and stuff, and really being able to like have people talk to each other as people and even craft some things. We actually used Magic's new crafting mechanic that he's been working into this campaign. We're the guinea pigs, but I think it's been working really well so far. Using different like talents, essentially, is the way I'll put it, like either crafting or alchemy or enchantment, like my character, for example, all of that. It was really good just to talk between people and have like a little bit of time for introspection, even, which is actually what I chose for the clip today, with our Bardlock multi-class boy trying to connect with his patron a little bit more, because he sees his twin sister, who has a god as a cleric, but hasn't really connected with his patron a whole lot. So let's talk about that, or play that clip real quick with that introspection there.
Sure thing. Let me just make sure this loads.
Hesitating and being like, is this the right way to do this? How do you like this? I know we have a little bit different of a conversation
Trying to
connection
connect with his patron a little bit.
than normal.
Yeah,
my sister said something. Is this like that kind of connect? Just talk to me, and that's kind of it. It's just kind of like casual, sporadic. Just
Are you doing this out loud?
I mean, well, that was the question then. Were they doing that out loud?
We're doing that out loud.
Love that.
Listen, Icarus does everything out loud, whether he means to or not. That's just his character at this point.
So can I open this section with my first hot take of the evening?
Yes, do it.
DMs that don't do downtime RP are bad DMs.
Yeah.
Sorry, putting it there. I
mean,
don't like to call a lot of because I know that everyone has their own style and everyone some people like more combat heavy things, and I totally get that. If you're running a persistent campaign where the goal is to create characters and have them go on arcs with adventures, if you don't give them time to process the things that they experience in the world, you are just running them through a slideshow. There is no point. I'm sorry. If you're going to have them fight in a dungeon where 2 of them die, they don't go back to town and then go, okay, guys, next dungeon, where do we go next? No, they should bury their friends, spend some time in a tavern drinking their sorrows away, and whatever else they have to do. Like, downtime RP is so necessary. Exactly. Play a board game. Thank you. Woo! Okay, sorry.
Role-playing game.
It's not a game. It's collaborative storytelling. It's the whole point.
And it kind of speaks to the, like, if someone wants to play that, I feel like there are older versions of the game that are more compatible with that wargamey feel, or better yet, other versions that perfected that. I mean, if you really want to dig into it, I'm on and like just like be a grindy, a grindy, like, let's go into a dungeon, kill people and kill things and get loot. Like, sure, there's a game for you, but I feel like at least with the content we're putting out, I think it was Proper who actually properly said, I mean, like, we're aiming more towards creating shows at this point than
100%. It's all about the show.
And you need that character interaction to make it a show.
Because, like, low-key, who's going to watch a D&D game? Like, who's going to watch some people sit around a small table and roll some dice and, like, occasionally yell about some stuff?
You say that, but there is a very big Warhammer community.
I am literally a part of it. So that's like, I can't talk that much shit, to be fair.
Bat reps are a thing, but they're
again,
not the audience we're attracting.
Exactly. I love those for two different things. If I want to watch some people perfectly execute some fun maneuvers on a tabletop with small models and roll some dice, I'll watch a 40K bat rep. If I'm watching a D&D game, I want to see like characters and people delving themselves in those characters, and like I want to see like the story and the world come to life around me as I'm watching this. I want to be watching a book I'm reading. Is the point here? Like if we're not providing that, especially if you're streaming the content, if you're not providing that experience, I think you're just doing it wrong. Like,
and once again, I will say, first off, thank you, FoXXii, for bringing up the difference between the different types of games that you can run, because obviously a GM may want to run a dungeon crawl, grindy, super dungeons, all of that kind of good stuff, and that's totally fine. What it really comes down to is you need to have a talk with talking to the GMs in chat right now. You need to have a talk with your players and establish your expectations and boundaries.
Simple as that. Session 0, before session 0. What kind of campaign do you guys want? What kind of characters do you guys want to run? And how do you want to do this? That should be first questions you ask before anything else. Yeah. Before you even ask what system you're playing, this should be like, what do you guys want? Do you guys want to be crawling through combat all day? Do you guys want investigation a whole lot? Do you want a whole bunch of role play? Do you want slice of life moments? Do you want grittiness? Do you want fun moments? Like how do you want only role play? Do you want out of character moments? Like those questions need to be had. Like talking about consent, like that goes so much beyond just like, can I do this thing? It's what do you want out of this? Like, and if you don't consider that in your players and vice versa, players in your DMs, you're gonna run into too many slips. Like at any point in the campaign, you're gonna be 8 months in, and the DM's gonna be like, all right, you spent 4 sessions in this town. And you're gonna have that one player sitting there like, when do I get to go murder some stuff? And you don't want that. So it's better to just have that conversation before anything else happens. Before anybody makes a character, before anybody puts some dice down, just talk. Just have the chat.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's nice to have some sort of balance, but again, it depends on the system that you want to run. It depends on what your players want to see. If your players want it to be combat heavy, then by all means do combat heavy. But I know a lot of people here at TBK like more role play heavy stuff, and so I mean, obviously that's a good thing, because we are striving to make shows here, not necessarily just putting random games out. And that's why we are successful, is because we put out these shows with these deep RP moments, and the combat is good, the RP is good. It's just an all-around package. It's because we establish our boundaries and our expectations beforehand.
Yeah, 100%. And like, if I could give any like random GM advice, it would be a great question I heard asked before. My GM asked us before we started doing Cyberpunk. He asked us, when we start talking about Cyberpunk in this campaign, what media comes in your head? Because someone who says like, oh, I'm thinking Mad Max, and someone who says, oh, I'm thinking Boys in the Hood, those are two very different campaign feels. And like, you can find a middle ground, but that's literally things we talked about. Like literally, when I put in my media sources, I said like, I'm thinking like Juice, Boys in the Hood, like all the fun, like like black movies I grew up watching, like that fun, like gangster experience. I wanted that, but I knew like if I didn't say I wanted that, I might not get that in the campaign, and I wouldn't be super fulfilled. So like having a group that says just like, hey, when you think about D&D, when you're thinking about this campaign, what movies are coming in your head right now? Are you thinking Indiana Jones? Are you thinking like Lord of the Rings? Do you want political intrigue? Do you want giant wars in the background? Do you want cosmic horror? Do you want like gods being a part of this? Like you have to, if you have a simple combination of like, what medium gets you going when we talk about this? Where do you find your fun in this? Where's your niche here? And if you like establish that with all your players, there's some mushy middle ground that has everything you want. You can have a little bit of tomb delving with some political background and a war going on. If you're into it, just talk to your players, and you'll find that like if you had a cool idea for your world, ask your players what they want, and I promise you'll walk away with 4 more ideas for that world you didn't think about.
But I will also say you should never, if you as a GM really want to run a certain type of game, and your players are in a completely different direction, I think it's totally fair to be like, well, I really want to run this. Is there some way we can link these 2 ideas together?
Yeah, 100%. You got to find the mushy middle ground,
Because some GMs don't, want to run. I mean, I'm just looking at the chat here. Like some GMs are not comfortable doing the NPC romance options.
100%.
And some GMs 100% are. And it's I mean, hey, HB, I'm always down to flirt. Hit me up in my DMs. But that's kind of the things you do have to clear, and I appreciate you saying that. It is 100% you need to have a strong session 0, and that can set the pace of this campaign. And it's very clear by this campaign's amazing RP moments that you guys have had a very good session 0 and very good out of game talks about expectations and what you want to do in these sessions and what needs to be achieved. I mean, pre-planning before, I mean, at this point, I mean, you have to really think, like, GMs have to be thinking about timing and what they want to get to session by session. And you can just, fly by the seat of your pants, and that's fine. Yeah. But having that end goal, like, I want to have these moments and these moments by what the players have said is great.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
I think
Magic
like
is confirming my thoughts.
So. Yeah. I feel like there's a cool thing that can happen a lot when you like chat with your players a lot, because I don't think I've ever actually played a campaign in like an officially written setting. I think every time I've played D&D, I've been just like, all right, here's this homebrew thing I was thinking of, or like some other random thing. And whenever I do that, I always put some time into the world before like the players hop in, just kind of give them like a fun little hook to go off of. But the first thing I do is like I give the world a general sketch of like, here's a cool maybe background of some stuff. And then before I even worry about what species or cultures are there, I ask my players what they want to play. Because if my player wants to play a dwarf and he has this idea of a dwarf that's like a samurai, cool. Now I can write this whole culture of dwarves that have this deep, bladesman tradition, which is not only like super fun. You don't often see dwarves like that in fantasy. So you created a super unique sort of setting for your dwarves that like, just ask your players. Just ask your players. Like before you super settle in on, if you like have certain things you want to hit, like certain species or cultures have to be there for the purposes of the campaign. Sure. Outside of that, just leave it open. Ask your players. What do they want to play? And whenever they say, just write up a couple sentences about it. Oh, you're playing a fox person who's all like, they're all about like being a rogue. Okay, cool. During this great war I was thinking about in the time, there was a whole clan of fox people who did spy shit. And like now they're all doing like independent agent stuff. And that's where you're from. Cool. Boom. There you go. Whole plot hook right there for in three sentences, So like there's just talk like, if I had to do anything to GMs, just talk to your players. It makes writing your world so much easier. They have ideas and they want to see them, and it makes it easier for you to give them what they want if you just ask them.
And conversely, players talk to your GMs.
Same.
If you want to see something, don't just sit in the back and cross your arms and it doesn't happen. Reach out, be like, I want to have this moment for my character. Can we work this into the game?
Yeah, we were talking about my cyberpunk campaign I'm in, and while we already set up the backstory of my character having like a kid he didn't know about, that like after a bad incident has like kind of ran off and like didn't tell him much about it, and so we kind of like had that plot hook sitting in the background, and he had a plan on like when he wanted to bring it in, but we had a moment where like I had basically like dated our way through success in a mission, like we had a professor we had to meet, like talk to her, got her on a date, and like ended up sleeping with her. It was a pretty funny moment, and so in the middle of our break, I DM'd Tate on Discord and said, yo, would it be cool if my ex DM me like texted me about this daughter thing like right now? Like how would that go? And Tate just was like, let's run with it. And it's turned into this huge crazy plot hook where now I'm like being bribed by the mayor like of like our section of the city like over her. It's become this crazy huge plot hook. So like yeah, players, chat with your GMs when you have things you want to put in, like when you want to see, like if you're like, yeah, this would be a great moment for this part of my backstory to pop up, just ask.
Yep.
Bring it up. Your DMs are there to say yes to you. They're not there to be like, no, I don't like that. Actually, if they are, then you're probably playing with the wrong DM. Sorry. Like.
Yes, very well said, Turk and FoXXii. We are getting a little bit over time on the first half, and we do have something that's totally fine. There are no rules, FoXXii.
There are no
rules. More like guidelines.
Except hoods up in second half.
But
we're not at halftime yet.
And have fun. You must have fun.
You must have fun.
Fun is mandatory.
Fun is necessary.
We have something very special for all of our viewers right now. And I'm going to send it over to Heck to talk about what that is.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I was volunteered, but I agreed. Okay, I agreed to do a little Valentine's thing for TPK, and the bits and the donations in chat told me that I should do it. So I ended up writing a little thing, and usually like I know that my rap, my parodies and all of that are like usually this like fun like little thing, and like this has been a very lighthearted show, and now I feel like I'm just going to like show you like my raw beating heart, and I'm very sorry for that.
Nah, bring it.
I feel like it's going to be very heavy very quickly.
Bring it.
But yeah, I guess it's time. So here goes. I'm pulling up the document real fast. Can you tell I'm nervous? My palms are sweating.
Knees weak, arms are ready.
Oh my fucking god, that's not it. I promise you that's not it.
I was like, oh, she went that way.
No, I did not go that way. I just Oh no. This is my own thing. Okay. June 25th. It was a sunny day. I showed you my heart, but from an arm's length away. It beat slowly but so loudly, and yet you still somehow heard my voice over it. I played a bard and somehow my world didn't end again, and I didn't know what to do, but you did. You placed me amongst the stars in that desert sky, but I'm still asking myself why, because I'd never be the same. You see, my arm was still up in defense, or maybe outstretched for redemption I thought I'd never get by holding it all so close to my chest. When would they see? When would they see that after every spoken word, how much I didn't deserve the heights they'd put me in so quickly, with their hearts so close by? All I had was the cover of night. The arm stayed out to steady myself on that tightrope. I tricked myself to walk so I wouldn't hurt my world again. I looked down from those stars thinking how far it was to fall once they saw my faults, and I broke their hearts. On that clear, cloudless night, I was so sure I was going to trip and fall down off that pedestal, but you caught me by the heart you somehow found in my sleeve, saying that I couldn't leave so quietly under the sound of it beating. When it got there, from an arm's length away, I don't know. But now this is my home, and I'll never be the same.
Oh, okay. I see we're going to make everyone cry now. Okay.
Heck, you have a background in poetry. Have you done spoken word before?
Nope, that was the first time.
Your cadence is incredible. I am
means a lot,
so in
thank
love with your performance there. Okay, I'm not gonna poetry nerd right now because I have so many comments on the way you delivered that and how awesome it was. But I'll stow all of that in favor of like just general compliments right now. God, just the way that bounced and progressed, and the way that like the tone never settled in one. Your tempo never settled. There was no way to predict the next line. There was always a constant shift in the pacing, and I adored it. It kept the poem so inviting. Is the only word I can give. I don't know. I've like consumed so much spoken word over my lifetime, and like I loved that. That was so fun. I enjoyed every part of that.
Thank you for that.
Like, oh man, it was so great.
It was lovely. Oh my gosh.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was incredible.
Okay, and I think with that we're gonna have to.
We love you, Heck.
I think with that we're gonna have to jump to a quick intermission.
It's time to cry.
It's time to cry, but we're gonna do that in an intermission. Okay.
We're gonna do that on a break.
All right.
Thug tears, everybody. Okay.
All right. We'll see you all very soon. Go. I'd say you just can jump into that right now.
Oh.
Because we're live again.
Oh, you got here the word.
You cold open right there.
I did. I to be fair, I just did. So you didn't get all the other stuff.
All right, I guess me pretending to be a TikTok boy.
I'll just.
I would have loved to get the.
I'll do it and then I'll give context afterwards because fuck it. I tried to place your memory in a bottle and cast it to the bottom of the ocean once. I stood at the beach, chest heaving and eyes red, waiting to see you sink beneath the waves and never bother me again. But all you did was drift along the tide and laugh at me, and all I did was smile like I wanted that all along. I have learned I fall in love with all the broken things. I go to a thrift shop and buy the shirt with too many holes in it. The other one it looks like it's been somewhere. My mother and I visit an animal shelter and pick the dog that barks at everyone. The one so jaded by past pain it's afraid of any human contact. I think if I give it all the good kind of kisses, it'll stop biting me eventually. I have enough scars to know I'm wrong. But something about love makes you numb. Or dumb. So I walk along the beach and step on every cracked seashell. I watch as they tear open scars so old they bleed sand. I think my body is ashore. Broken people have smashed their waves into me, and I blame the moon for leading them astray. And in the aftermath, I am left all sharp rocked and jagged for some lonely sailor to wreck their ship against. I never say I'm sorry fast enough, so it's always my fault. I am only as destructive as they make me. And I'm not saying any lover wasn't an angel, but in trying to climb my way to them, I have found that heaven is such a far place to fall from. And I have done so many times that I can no longer use these legs on my own. But to me, love means I will gladly cripple myself to see you stand. And I'm not sure if that makes me wrong or you immortal, but only one of us is dying here. I once thought to write a list of everything that I hate that I haven't tried to give to you at some point. And without an answer, I tore your face from every wall in my bedroom and spent the better part of an afternoon holding my heart in both fists, picking out all the shards of glass you left in it. And with those pieces held in both hands, I made a bloody prayer. If I had things my way, every warm breeze against your face would remind you of mine. The way every single stab wound on me looks just like you, and the last thing a sunken man wants to see is the face of the person who drowned him. If I could ask God for one single thing, it's that you could see yourself the way I see you. As the kind of face you can't look at without flinching and swallowing all the air in your throat. I hope one day to fill the beach with all the pieces of me I left at your feet so you will learn to hate the ocean just as much as I do. The context, when I realized Heck was gonna have to do the Valentine's piece, and I was like, oh man, should I let Heck rest on the hill alone? I'm like, nah, I'll embarrass myself too.
Nah,
so I wrote a thing too.
And chat's also like, we should do this every TPR. Maybe I will. I don't know.
There's a point reward for that.
There is.
Don't know where it's at.
Donation reward. So
$25. $25, and one of us doesn't have to be Heck. One of us will do it.
Somebody out there.
But we do have
to love
yet more to talk about.
Now that everyone's sad, let's get sad some more.
Hey, and talking about exposing your organs to the world.
Oh boy.
You're gonna put your warm heart in some cold hands.
Oh no! I was hoping it wasn't gonna be this one immediately. I'm gonna be even more sad.
I loved it, Turk. I loved it.
I was a fan. I was a fan personally. I enjoyed it.
It was good. It was really good. Okay. Yeah, and I'm the one doing that recap as your local TikTok boy, I guess. God, I can't get over this. I look like Justin Bieber.
Hey,
it's
baby. Oh, never mind, go on.
Okay, all right, we're gonna get to the recap and just not even address that. Yeah, no, but 2 words: dungeon crawl, my dudes. See now. Look at me. Look at what I'm saying now. Why am I like this? Yeah, no, it was a dungeon crawl in a Durgar fortress, which was really cool. And we actually had a guest player this week, Bright Dystopia, who we met through Jasper's Game Day games and all of that. He came around for a campaign session. He played a bard, which I am automatically very partial to because that's just me. But yeah, it kind of opened with a bit of a combat. A dynamic that I really like is the party being in a room and not really able to directly hit an enemy when the enemies are much smaller in number to the actual party. So that happened for a good third or so of the session. Made some very good moments, to be entirely fair. People trying to go through those windows, people reaching through the windows, some bardic inspiration and some vicious mockery was thrown around. And I actually picked 2 clips for this episode because I really liked a lot of what happened. So let's roll the first clip because I am very partial to bardic stuff.
Hell yeah.
Excuse me. Crossbows shoot and words may hurt, but did you see the impressive eldritch squirt? And he'll cast vicious mockery.
No. How dare you do this to little Chloe's
dweller
very
guy
first
right here.
attack? How dare
What's
you?
that?
What is an eldritch squirt?
I think that meant the familiar. Because this little schminga, his name is Little Bubby, and he is very good. Okay, we love him. We love Little Bubby in this house.
No, please. It took us so long to get rid of it in game.
No, never.
Eldritch Squirt.
Yeah.
That.
Stop it. Stop Chris Perkins facing it. Stop it.
I don't know how you can not Chris Perkins face that. I'm honestly...
Look, Eldritch Squirts happen in Cold Hands, Warm Heart, and also in the archive room. So...
No!
We're also in that forest clearing in that one.
Her gonna
And
move right past
just
that again while Ty
everywhere in
dies
that
in the
bookstore.
corner. Oh my! You need to stop. You need to stop right
Well,
now.
that you can
I'm
try,
personally here
but
for more violence.
Harper's
I'm a fan of this kind of
but
chaos.
Harper's season 1
Can I
just
press the
never
more
ends.
violence button? I'm a
and
fan of
neither
this.
do the squirts.
We haven't even gotten through all of the recap yet. Time's gonna die.
I'm personally a fan of this. Can we? I'm pressing the
I've
more
read Crashing Waves. I know
I'm-
what you clap for.
And now for this commercial. For those of you who don't know, we have an immense amount of downtime RP on Patreon. If you are looking for a place to start, I recommend My Way. Back to our regularly
You
scheduled
can't
program.
start with My Way. You need to get all
Nope.
that weird pining energy in there.
No.
No, it's like Star Wars. You got to start in the middle and then go back and then forward.
And back and forward and back and forward and back and forward until the Eldritch Squirt happens. Yeah, I agree.
Hey,
Anyway.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming, and I couldn't stop it. I'm sorry. I failed you, chat.
That's exactly what. Anyway, what else happened in this dungeon crawl?
Lots more. Well, I mean, there were a fair amount of typical things for a dungeon crawl, like doors and more fighting and all that. This was a pretty combat-heavy session, but there was still a lot of fun brought to it. Different characters kind of showing their colors a little bit more, showing different mechanics to fighting that they perhaps haven't shown quite yet in this campaign, which was really interesting, including a particularly interesting consecration mode that was requested to also be showed in the show, and I entirely agree. So let's let's also just show that real quick.
Come on,
Queen walks in strumming. Fall down! This is getting old! Stay down! You're being a chode! I'm Christian Grey, now do as you're told! Wasting my good bars, ingots of solid gold! Have you met Azarus? Consecration mode! No. I want to cast heat metal on Azarus.
Yes! I'm sorry. The best part of that clip is the last 3 seconds of me just losing my collective mind.
That's so fair, though.
I live for that moment. Well, no, it was so great because I forget what the proposed combo was earlier inside the the lock tower encounter. There was someone, I think between Lane and I, where we were like, oh, this could be a really cool team up move that we ended up not doing because it wasn't like smart enough. So like I was like, no, it's okay, don't worry. We'll have our Marvel Ultimate Alliance team up move at some point later. And then this happened, and 8 seconds later, I'm like, wait, this is it. It's the Alliance team up move. It was such a great moment. God. Yeah, I loved this session for so many reasons.
Yeah,
Some
seriously.
of them are just Aubergine and the things he added to our party dynamic, even for the brief bit of it. Yeah, and talking about like showing new methods of combat, like we got to see Neo activate more of his open hand techniques and do some super fun martial arts.
Yeah.
Like, we got to see
like deflect missiles, for example.
Yeah,
Loki forgot about that.
Which was fun. The one time it came up, we couldn't use it because he couldn't see the person shooting the missile, so it was a waste, unfortunately.
No, it was so sad.
But we know he can. We know he can.
Yeah, we know he can.
It'll be awesome.
Also learned he has very low wisdom.
Yeah.
That's also fair.
We got to see Lane's her Pact of the Chain, little Bubby came out for some action, which was awesome. Azarus got to reactivate some of his subsystems and go into conquest mode where he just like becomes into like his full like warrior personality and grows much and becomes like this insanely silent, violent being. And that led to some super fun party dynamic that talking about earlier with Uther, like the idea of like party members and their different approaches to morality kind of clashing. There's definitely some of that building in Cold Hands. There's some of that kind of heading towards a head here, I feel like.
Absolutely. And I also thought it was really interesting because like one of my like favorite abilities that Durgar have is that they can also get bigger. So it's just like, oh my god, they're all increasing in size. What is happening?
I just thought it was A great moment that like wasn't super clippable but was super fun was when it was either the Durgar or maybe it was the other large creature we fought, the zombie ogre. But at one point, I'm pretty sure it was a zombie ogre where I was like, hey, last APG, how tall is this thing? I was Azra's already in
About
conquest
9
mode.
feet.
He was like, oh, like 9 feet. And I'm like, oh, cool, I'm taller than it. Because Azra's in conquest mode is like 13, 14 feet tall. Like, he's a big boy.
Just hit the ceiling, why don't you, man?
I mean, in my default form, I'm like 8.5 feet. He's the pretty massive robot, so like doubling that was pretty exciting. Yeah, I loved all of the. I got to a lot of really fun moments got to happen. I don't know if anybody like wants to talk about it now or anything, but one of the fun sort of things that came up a lot was we were in this Durgar fortress because we were tracking them for having stolen some food from town, which was like kind of like the quest we were on. And like the session before, we kind of like landed there and said like, hey, where the food be? And got locked in this room while they went to go ask their boss, and then the session began with us getting shot at. And so a huge dynamic was Braum and some of our more sensible party members saying, hey, listen, they're wanted for petty theft. We don't need to murder our way through these guys. And despite like recognizing that and not wanting to be a horrible player, every time it could have come up, Azra's was either in conquest mode and or angry. So there were at least, I think I counted 3 different moments where Azra's murdered someone he shouldn't have. And it's like, so part of it was like, I actually was secretly rolling a check every time Azra's went to go deliver a killing blow to decide whether or not he could like overcome his violent urge. And every time I failed. Oof. And so I was like, I am so sorry, friends. I don't know. But like, I just love sort of like the idea of like, Azra's first session was like him wanting to know if he could live for a purpose beyond warfare, and his newfound friends were like reassuring him that yes, you can, like, you've only helped us, so you can obviously find something beyond warfare. And now like they've seen exactly what he means when he says a machine built only for warfare. And it's like, okay, like you guys saw Big Giant Teddy Bear Azra's earlier, now you've seen the cold-blooded murder bot. How are we gonna handle this?
Which like I think like especially like towards the end when combat started to cool down a little bit, there was like more like interrogation style stuff happening, like asking questions like, hey, what's ahead? It's like, oh, you're gonna like hate what's ahead and all of that. Like, yeah, it's definitely showing out more. There's more time for that for sure. And hopefully next session there will be like more time to process that a little bit, because I think there's more to delve into there for sure.
There was a great and I want to mention that as Peach just said in chat in a minute, I want to mention that, but I think one sort of fun thing I added is like just like a kind of a little bit of GM bait to hopefully let Last HP have some fun, was towards the end as we're walking away and our one captive Durgar is talking about like, oh, you know, you won't know what's coming. We're bringing an army. It's going to be crazy. Azra's just says, and I'll kill all of you too. And it's like very, very low and silent. And it's like
it's
the fact that like
there's so much more to unpack.
Yeah, like there's so much to dig into with this. And it led into this great after chat about moral philosophy in D&D and the idea that like, yes, Durgar are in the rules as written meant to be like evil creatures. And so there was a great chat about like, 1, you can't just assume everyone's evil by virtue of what the rule book says. 2, delving into that dynamic, and it can be really fun. I think we mentioned in the after chat that some people, especially me, like to play that as like, when I see like a race that like says like in the background, oh, like these people are usually evil or like usually chaotic, I treat that as like that's sort of historically how they've been typecasted or treated because of any different things, from like something they did, something they didn't do, and for some reason they like the word around society is like, yeah, drow suck, you know. But so that like lets you have a lot of really, really fun roleplay moments for if you have a drow in your party who's not like that, having to contend with like, hey, look, I get people treat drow like this, but I'm not. Or having the party run into drow and maybe one of them has some backstory that involves the drow doing them kind of dirty. So they have this preconception about what drow are, and then they meet a not so bad drow and have to deal with, like, there's so much like story flavor you can put there. So I like playing it that way.
Like that's something, that's absolutely something one of my former players did actually. They played a drow that ended up being an Oath of Redemption paladin because they, you know, like said their past civilization was like pretty shady and did some shady things, and so they were just like, like let's do Oath of Redemption here, which I was like, oh wow, that's, you know, that's something you can do. And it ended up being a very interesting dynamic, especially for the other elves in the party that were like, we don't know about this. Like it ended up working out like, yeah, like you said, like very well here. It was super interesting.
It's a thing that I mean, I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about this when it becomes relevant later when I go on all my rants about race in RPGs. But one thing I found that I've had so many times is one of two things happen. Either I go in to get into a group to play some kind of TTRPG, and I make a character specifically to avoid any kind of racial allegory because I'm like, you know what? I'm not in the mood for that in this campaign. I don't really want to do it. I just want to have some fun. And somehow it gets brought up anyway, and I'm like, I specifically tried to avoid this. And or the opposite happens where I make a character specifically for the purpose of like raw catharsis, where it's like, you know what? I'm playing into this whole like, you know, like oppressed race dynamic because I want to fucking like hammer through this, and then I don't ever get the opportunity. Like, if you're gonna write a campaign where like a certain species is treated like slaves, and I make a character who wants to free all those slaves, you better fucking let me free all those goddamn slaves. Like, I don't know. Like, we play D&D to avoid our real life problems or to interrogate them. And it's like, if we're not interrogating this dynamic seriously, or if we're not escaping through it through catharsis, why are we doing it? Did you just want to have slavery be there because you think it's a fun flavor? Like, I don't know. It bothers me a lot.
No, and I think oh gosh, I forget which one, but one of the Dungeon Bitches devs brings up a very good point. The whole point of Dungeon Bitches is there are two directions for oppressed peoples in TTRPGs. One is to exist in a space where that, like you said, that oppression does not exist. That you live in this ideal world and everything is wonderful and you can proceed on your adventure without having that thought in your mind. The other option is to have the cathartic release of confronting and succeeding against the oppressive systems. Exactly. And so, in the absence of either of those, it is just window dressing in someone's very tone deaf game. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
We were talking in the pregame before TOA about like our characters. I was talking about how Tony's Toby, his crocodile barbarian, has to meet my alligator barbarian, Nakiue, whose whole thing is like he comes from a culture that was kind of like, put through like a lot of like used for forced labor, and so has an abhorrent hatred of slavers to the point where he literally consumes them as his favorite meal. And the moment I said it, it was either Luca or Sarah, and I'm so sorry for not remembering which one, but one of them, or not Sarah, I'm sorry, I'm so blanking on something. Oh my god, I'm the worst kind of person. Yeah, no.
Chrissy.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm the worst kind of human being. Holy shit, I'm blanking on names.
I called someone.
I had Seven in my head, the character name, and I was like, wait, Seven's played by.
Callie numbers in chat. Yeah. No more.
It was either Chrissy or Luca who was like, hold on, wait a minute. Did you intentionally do the whole thing of an alligator eating slave masters? And I was like, yes, that metaphor is very, very on point because of a very, very real practice that happened in history that I won't talk about because it was gruesome and horrible. But yeah, I very purposely wrote that character to deal with that dynamic, to approach that, and from a raw, like, I want catharsis, I want release, I want expression through this. I don't wanna like, ignore this. I don't wanna pretend it's some fanciful thing that doesn't happen. I want to attack this aggressively. And like, if that's I don't know, again, it goes back to like talking to your players, like just know what your players want before you start the campaign. I don't know.
Yeah. So, speaking of the TBK adventures.
Fantastic.
Yeah, another one
Nice try.
that occurred Saturday morning.
On power, but we'll keep it going.
Saturday's had another one. Hey, we'll plug it into the battery station later. But hey, Dark Echoes also happened this week, and it was Saturday morning, and it was a great time. I don't know. That is my own little thing here. Is the art. You gonna be okay, Heck?
Fine. My cat just barged in at like literally the worst time.
But I'm gonna try and center myself, make sure Toby is always visible on the screen here.
Toby in our head and in our hearts.
Exactly.
Toby lives on.
Because Toby was very tired and very hungry this session, and like we can all relate to that. This session was very RP heavy. It was very much a traveling, and we are on the road to Vallaki, and we're all just figuring each other out, and it's very good early party dynamic building, and it's an absolutely fun time to have as a player. I'm sure Tyrant can speak to that as well. Plenty of note taking, and we had our fortunes read, which Tyrant was very excited about, but I wasn't. So I don't think I got a good card.
Listen, fortunes, say what you will about fortunes in real life or whatever, but I've always been interested in them, and the fact that Luca had real Taroka cards in real life that she was using was really cool to me. But no, having DM'd Curse of Strahd before, some of the fortunes were familiar, or at least the group one, some of the cards were familiar. And so I'm very excited because what I remember, it's going to be really fucking cool. As for the individual fortunes, say what you will, most of them were meh, you know. Turk, yours was not the best.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's just a fortune. Like fate can be changed. What do you think's gonna happen, man? Like some hot grandma said some words at you, and now you're all mad at it. Come on, man, it's fine. It's fine.
I just think like Luca's gonna kill my character, and I'm like, why?
Death isn't the
Okay, yeah, says Mr. Melty Eyes over here. But also, we did have another effect of not even a bad table, just the effect of Barovia hit us really hard. There was also a very interesting bad table that has now impacted my character that no one else in the party knows about except for Dev, myself, and Luca. And it will prove to be very interesting in the coming sessions how that's played into. But also due to the negative effects of a certain cooked treat, one of our characters is seriously struggling. I thought I would just highlight that, just to kind of show like the inter-character dynamics forming already in the group here.
But it's exactly as he said, and plus there are many children here who would just be so delighted to have half of what you just threw on the ground. So how about you be responsible? Starving children in Barovia, they would like that very much, Toby. So how about you never do that again in my presence and you eat your food?
There are starving children in Barovia, Toby.
These
It's
goddamn
so
pies.
It's the accent. The accent brings that line so well. Just, oh.
Beautiful. Absolutely
It's so
beautiful.
funny.
There are definitely...
One day, I'm going to tell my children there are starving children in Barovia. It's going to be because of you.
It's 100% like one of those moments. You could 100% tell a young child, oh yeah, Barovia, like, you know, it's right next to Romania and
that's
Bosnia-Herzegovina.
what you haven't seen yet. Go get a map.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It's in the Balkans. And everyone's gonna be like, what the fuck are the Balkans? You're like,
You can get that new toy you want when you find Barovia on the map. Go look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the Willy Wonka thing, where the Oompa Loompas are from. But like, but this session was really good for just RP stuff. Not a lot of combat. I know Lucas in chat saying it's fine, all is well, but it's not fine, and all is not well. And I'm scared, Luca. Why you gotta give me all the bad cards like that? What the fuck does a beast mean? Why you gotta do me like that?
Did you watch Dungeon Bitches? You should know.
Hell yeah.
Okay, that's a very cool
Cleo
hot
says,
beast.
entered the chat.
That's a great callback.
That's a very cool hot beast, but like I don't know if that's the same kind of beast here. Because it was like great rage and passion and bestial malevolence hiding below the skin, and I'm just like, what? What am I having, my sweet boy?
Sounds like me at 16.
My sweet,
Listen,
lovely boy.
Listen, I think Alexander is just a werewolf, so it's fine. That's my guess. I don't know what's going on, but
He's hungry like a wolf. Wait, no, Toby's the one that's hungry.
like a wolf.
Toby is 100% the one that's hungry.
Toby
like a
is
wolf.
very hungry. That's true.
Toby's hungry like a
Toby
Toby.
hungers. Toby hungers.
But
Toby
yeah.
is not big like a horse or a wagon. Toby is big like a Toby.
But yeah, there was a plenty of good RP. We are now in the Vistani camp, sleeping under the stars, and next session will prove to continue to push our story along. So I encourage you all to check that out. It's very easy to digest, being now in shorter segments. And it's been a really good time to play, a really fun time to watch. Barovia doesn't know what's going to hit it.
Yep. Real quick, corporate shilling. If you're finding it hard to get up in the morning to watch all of our incredible shows that are in the morning, grab some of that found familiar coffee.
That'll be the way to do it.
And then you can watch my face and really get up in the morning.
Info for found familiar is in chat. Go check it out.
You're welcome.
You go.
Yeah, nice.
Not their work. Happy to be of service.
But then we also had something really special happen later on that day. Something that someone.
Something magical.
We started our week in space.
Something out of this world, maybe?
Oh no, it's happening.
Hey, Foxy.
Hey.
Why don't you go ahead and recap your show for us?
Sure, I will happily do that. So this Saturday, I was blessed with the occasion of being able to run a Black History Month one-shot in the Starfinder system, which came as the result of a joke, because I jokingly said to chat and Cole, "Hey Cole, Black History Month one-shot when?" And he went, "If you run it, you can do it." And I said, "Don't say that to me because I'll do it." And an hour and a half later, it was decided that I was doing it. So I scoured the internet for an incredible cast and found 3 awesome adventurers, Arx Dragon Breath, Robotic Gentleman, and Alicia/NNG9, people who I have seen their roleplay of, seen their work. They're awesome. They're great. And so I wrote this adventure that was sort of designed to tell a very, very sort of pointed story. The players each journeyed to a massive space station called Forward Hope. It was a former defensive bastion converted into a sort of like space nation with a large population, built by a massive workforce of an insectoid-like species called the Unix, who are kept in the lower ring and sort of treated like second-class citizens and kept sort of in the dregs. And so our players enter into this scene not so much being associated with the larger story there, but as investigators to check out an incident on a crime at a construction site that went a bit wrong, where someone lost their life and there seemed to be a bit of an uproar about it. And so they're contacted after being taken through the middle ring, being on a hover car. They see a robbery and they're kind of just like, does that happen often? So there's kind of this weird sort of backdrop of things brewing beneath the surface. They meet their contact, this Yosoki, he's like a rat person who runs the lower ring and doesn't have a security force, a humanoid security force he hires. Instead, he has these robotic guards that he calls ruthlessly efficient, the Praetor Guard, who keep peace and security throughout the station, throughout the lower ring. And so he sends these adventurers to go investigate this crime scene to determine what happened. And he specifically tells them, "I want you to make sure that you can find my organization innocent. I want it to not be an incident." There's a lot of sort of traveling through the lower ring. They meet some more Unix people and see some things. They travel to a bar where they meet Jinto, this sort of aged, very, very roguish Unix in dark blue robes, who they try to go and get some information out of, but kind of fumble around in the conversation a bit. So causing Jinto and his friends to point guns at them and just kind of go like, "All right, fuck off." Which is a pretty fun moment. I remember watching chat being like, "Oh shit, what?" Which I love. That made me feel really good that happened. They then made it to their crime scene after seeing some more stuff and did some fun stuff with using their fun abilities. They eventually managed to come across that the sort of body they were looking for was under a massive crate that had come down on it, but that it wasn't killed by that crate. Instead, the person had been killed by blaster fire, by gunfire. This discovery was broken up once they realized who the person was and that there was some sort of larger issue going on. It was broken up by an individual sort of dashing away from them, and there was a really fun chase scene I used with a homebrew mechanic that had a lot of really fun RP moments and some great moments of a character building with them. They ended sort of catching this person and getting some information out of them, and then going and kind of realizing that, like, maybe there's a larger conflict here that we are not 100% sure of all the sides on. They return to their dwellings, hang out for a bit, and finally are contacted by their good old friend Jinto, who's like, "All right, you know what? Time for you to know what's going on here." And they learn about the truth of the Unix and their status as second-class citizens, and they go meet them at the resistance base and talk about like their plans to sort of make a better home for themselves when they're attacked by the Praetor Guard. It's a crazy firefight, gets really, really bloody and messy, and in sort of the aftermath, Jinto is killed. There's this very, very emotional moment where the players experience the last moments between Jinto and his son, Tasir, where he explains to them that he has to find his own light. The next day, Tasir leads a massive protest in the middle ring. The players just like to wake up to the sound of just protest in the streets, and they immediately go to the office of the middle ring, where the owner of the middle ring and owner of the lower ring are basically just talking like, "Hey, what the hell do we do?" And so the players barge in, and I didn't know how they would play this out, but it turned into just like strong-arming them.
Yeah.
Our Dragon
Yeah,
Breath
they did.
massive vest soldier Sorgo literally ripped his chair out of the ground, dumps him out of it, throws the chair through the window, picks the guy up, and then hangs him out the window. It's like, okay, so resign now, huh? And so there's this great moment of like back and forth talking about this, where like the guy's like, listen, I'll give you some money, please leave me alone. And Sorgo's like, I'm getting real tired, dude. My hand might slip. And then after they have this back and forth, there's this great moment that I didn't even plan, where the other prefecture goes, hey, listen, if he steps down, someone has to lead the lower ring. And Robot Gentleman's Android 11 nominates Tasir, Jinto's young son, saying like, everyone trusts you and is looking to you. Finish what your father started. And we ended on that note, and it set me.
It was so good, and the reason I didn't
fucking hard.
It was so good. The reason I didn't pick that clip is because I want to make people go watch the episode. So go watch it for that good stuff, okay?
Yeah, it was.
But
my players blew my mind. It's
yeah, oh my gosh, it was phenomenal to watch. And you know, the trademark of a good DM is knowing how to make a good cliffhanger. And even though a one-shot that's supposed to have a conclusion, you still did a cliffhanger for the break. So let's play that clip real quick.
Yeah, of course.
Just as they sort of communicate each other back and forth in different sort of chiming sounds, they turn, recognize the individual who is running from you, and sprint after him. And with that, we will go to break.
Dun dun dun.
Oh man, yeah. I didn't know where I was gonna put the break at exactly, but I just kind of like the timing kind of happened right, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna let's throw them out right here, and we'll see what we'll let them talk about it for a few minutes.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it was the right call.
Yeah, I'm just
done.
Yeah, I can't even express how well everything turned out, and there's so much I could say about like things that went well, and like I did mention it a little bit last night when we did our breakdown, but I'll say it again for the sake of saying it here. This could not have happened without so many people's help, whether it was, again, Luca helping me find sounds, or Proper doing the overlay, or Turk and Mr. Rogers sitting with me in chat, or Sarah helping me get descriptions down, or just like literally all of you, or even just like the people when I post in chat being like, hey, I slept 4 hours and I don't know if it's gonna be good or not, I'm so worried. People being like, no, don't worry, you've got this, we're all here for you. Like I was kind of talking with some people like today about like rounding out Black History Month, how we were kind of feeling about like the level of support we had received this month. Because there's always a sort of competition of like, when Black History Month comes around, some Black creators see like a rush of like, hey, we have your back, we have your support, similar to what happened around like last June when protests broke out. There's like this rush of support for us that just died eventually. It just disappeared. And like the consensus amongst a lot of people I talked to was like, there didn't really seem to be the same even level of support during Black History Month overall. Like there seemed to be like just kind of like a general sense of like maybe just an exhaustion of talking about like, or like of talking about Black issues or of uplifting Black voices, where it felt like we did this already last year with like the protest, let's not do it again almost. Topping that off with like the usual dearth of like random racist messages I got on Twitter or email or like you name a fucking platform. So like to wrap out my Black History Month with like getting to run a game and a system that I love with 3 like other Black TTRPG players, with a community full of people who offered nothing but like the most incredible support. I don't have the words. Like I can't describe the feeling more than anything else. It just like, again, there was this, I guess I hate to anecdote here, I'm so sorry, but I'll try to keep it super fast. I had a Warhammer 40K tournament the day Eric Garner was killed by police. That day, same day, I was literally at the tournament round 1 when I watched the video. I just ended round 1, was in the bathroom. And I had walked out of the bathroom thinking like, okay, I got 5 minutes for my second game. I feel kind of like shit and maybe want to go home, but I paid money to be here, so let's play, you know? And I remember sitting around with some other friends who were kind of hanging out, and one of them went, yo, did y'all see what happened? No, what went down? Yeah, some dude got choked out in New York by NYPD. silence. And that was the whole of the conversation we had about Eric Garner. And I went through the rest of that 8 hours of tournament just like being torn up in the middle about watching someone that looked like me die again. So to exist in a space like this where even when it's nothing to do with like trauma or healing or help, when it's just like, hey, I want to celebrate Blackness in tabletop RPGs for a bit, and knowing that not only do I get the opportunity to do that through this community, but that there was so much love and support and energy given to it just to uplift this experience and to make this a standout, I guess, like moment in my Black History Month. I can't thank you guys enough for the experience it's given me. It means so much to me.
I'm really glad you could share that with us as well. I mean, fantastic fucking game, dude. And just, I don't know what to say to add on to that, but just like thank you for being here and sharing your story with us in that way.
And thank you all for letting me share it. You know, there's, like we talked about earlier, there's always this tension around talking about some of these nuanced issues in tabletop experience. There's the idea of like, we're here to escape from real life, so let's just not talk about politics, which I hate because some of us have political lives. Like
some people can't exist without politics.
I see this every day. I exist in this space every single day of my life. I can't get away from this, no matter how hard I want to. I'm this skin tone every day of my life for the rest of my life. So it's nice to have a space where, in the same way I can goof off and be a lizard, running through jungles with my idiot friends, I can also tell a story about something that means like a whole lot to me and have nothing but like love and support in like the chat and in the experience behind it and in all the production for it. Like, I don't know, like that's a staple thing to have. And I feel like I want to make sure this community is like known and uplifted because of that experience it gave to me, you know? I don't know. I'm a huge fan of everything that we have here, and I thank you guys a lot for it.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and sharing part of your life. Your life, sharing your life with the community, with the people that came and watched the stream with us tonight. And I mean, we support you wholeheartedly, FoXXii.
And I can't question that at all. If I could ever question it, I certainly can't after last night. This is the most supportive community I've ever been a part of.
I don't know. We did through a 3 deck of TBK things.
That's true.
I don't know if that's support.
Which, like, I mean, I hate to say it, but like, again, if we're gonna talk about it, like the fact that I got to play a TTRPG with 3 other Black people and we all walked away $40 richer for playing some Starfinder because people wanted us to have that, like not because like we have some job, but just because people who came to watch us and see that story said, listen, you people deserve this. You've earned, like, this is for telling this story. Like, I don't know, like that just blows my fucking mind. I don't know, like I can't really wrap my head around the fact that that's a thing that happened, you know?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, one thing that I love about TPK is that we are such an inclusive, caring community. One thing that I think we really need to work on is attracting more non-white people to our community, and that's something that I think we've struggled with since the beginning, and I'm not entirely sure why, but I think thank you so much, FoXXii, for being able to show that we all we really want to do is support our players, our GMs, the people that we care for and love. So thank you, FoXXii.
Yeah, and even just hopping off of that, like I've been in plenty of groups where I'm like, hey, here's our diversity pick. We got a Black guy in this, so we can say that like we're doing the things, and like that's nothing worse than like it's the most exploitative feeling. So like to know, like to hear that from you, Tyrant, and know like without even having to question it for a brief moment, to know like no, that's not cap. That's a genuine statement. That's like, this is a community full of people who like, I know for a fact if anything went down, hell, I had a moment where I was literally stopped by a cop on my way to do some text RP, and halfway through, like as that happened, people in the chat were like, oh my fucking God, are you okay? Like, can we make sure you're okay? Are you home? How are you feeling right now? Like, to have that happen without me even having to say, guys, I'm going through this. Can we talk about it? Like, just having that that space of openness is a thing that I cannot like thank you guys enough for. Like, it's everything to me. Like, it means so much. And like, I don't know, we talk about like me doing all this shit in 4 months. I don't know, like part of me feels obliged. Like, this community has given me a lot already in the limited amount of time that I've been here. I just want to give back, you know? And I have all these things I want to say, all these characters I want to play, and these stories I want to run. And if y'all want them from me, I'll give you all of them. I have nothing left to hold back from you guys.
Hey.
All you gotta do is be you. That's it. That's our requirement. That's
Thank
it.
you, Heck. That is exactly what I was gonna say. You don't owe us a fucking thing, FoXXii, but all we ask is that you are just you.
Oh, god damn it. Oh man, nope. I said I wasn't gonna cry today. Fuck.
If it would help, we could talk about what's happening this next week.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm good. I got it. We're
Well,
back.
First off, before we finish up here, final push. Let's get FoXXii over 600 followers on Twitter.
Yes.
700 followers on Twitter.
Like,
let's get him.
We got 2 hours.
Let's kick him over. We have 14 people in chat.
hours.
We can do this. We can do this.
I
Just
appreciate
Although
it.
I feel like
retweet,
you're
post, do whatever you need.
Yeah,
we got 2 hours.
I love you so much. You guys are too sweet.
Second, let's repost, retweet, do whatever the fuck we have to blow this incredible story that FoXXii has put out there up. Let's get it. Let's get it to the top of the charts, top of the fucking charts, because it fucking deserves it.
I'm just really glad it came together and you guys enjoyed it. I spent, again, weeks losing my head over this, just like, do I have the right sounds? Does this dialogue make sense? Is this map's good?
Oh, no, you put a lot of love and care into it, and yeah, 100%, as Heck said, it showed all the way through.
Thank you so much, guys. Genuinely, I, again, can't express enough appreciation for that.
Turk.
Hey, what's up?
What do we got going on next week?
As you are blinded by the light.
As I'm blinded by the light. It's so, if the future with TBK is so bright, I should really invest in some shades, or at least like blue screen glasses. Anyway, Monday we have the return of Winterhold's Finest, a not so rotating, but definitely not periodic series of one-shots of a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern-esque crew going through my dark political and interconnected world, call it the Shattered Kingdom, and they will be trying to save the heir of Bedegar as we travel into MCDM's Siege of Castle Rend, at very least the first part of it, because it is kind of a 2-part or 3-part adventure, so we'll see what we can do. I very much look forward to the shenanigans. I'm very scared that they are going to die, because this is a Matt Colville adventure, and this is not our usual talk to NPCs and have no one trust you and still make it through in the end. This is very much a you need to work as a team or you will die kind of thing, which of course means that it will be great.
We'll be fine.
It will probably be fine is the best and worst part. So be sure to check in there as they just kind of somehow make their way through insulting NPCs, getting in fights they shouldn't, and winning them anyway. And of course, it'll be a great time. And then Tuesday, we have Harper Investigations, which is, of course, our wonderful Luca Lux rotating series of one-shots featuring the Harper's crew as we return once again to do all things himbo. And solve all the problems by punching it and hopefully not killing so many owlbears this time. But hey, you live and learn. Not Cornelia, though. She does not live. However, on Wednesday, we have Singularity, our Mutants and Masterminds campaign. It is back. It is kicking ass, and they have their superhero names, and they are ready to be hopefully heroes. I don't know. Martyr and Co. kind of bring a kind of chaotic energy to all that, and it's kind of like, but
Martyr and Co.
Murder and Co. Not to be confused with Murder and Coffee. But speaking of groups with interesting intercharacter dynamics, we have Roundhouse Whitebridge on Thursday, which of course our good man Tyrant here is very closely involved in. It is a Monster of the Week campaign that has a sister show over on Net 20 and is coalescing towards the finale of Season 1 as they fight, well, I guess the third of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, if we're following everything correctly. So, come and see, I say upon thee. And the horses, and from the Great Gap, a third horseman shall ride. Which of course will be followed on Friday by the return of everyone's favorite downtime RP IRL non-canonical shenanigans, Proper Parley Games, hosted by the eponymous Proper Nerdy, where I believe it will be the Aliens crew, Destroyer Worlds, will be hanging out.
Yeah.
Not sure what they will be doing, but they are going to have a really fun time. Proper Parley Games is always a fantastic chance to just watch people play characters in very relaxed situations. I mean, last time we had the Sherlock crew in there, and it was a damn fun time, if I do say so myself. And so please go check that out. Proper puts a lot of love and care into his shows, and it shows, for lack of a better term,
there it is.
There it is.
And then, of course, Saturday we have Top Shelf. I'm actually not sure what system is being run.
I think FoXXii knows. He's gonna be
I don't know what's that's another. I know. I don't want to give away too much, but let's just say that we will be exploring the world of Curse of Strahd with a twist, so to speak. Any of my Gundam fans in chat are definitely gonna want to tune in for what we're going to be taking into the world of Curse of Strahd.
It is anime month.
And that is the only hint I'm giving you. If you like Gundam and like D&D, you want to see Top Shelf next Saturday.
It is anime month in Top Shelf. I do recall this, so be sure to check that out. And of course, on Sunday, we'll be back. We'll be hanging out and having a damn good time here at Total Party Recap to break it all down for you into nice, digestible pieces like a mama bird.
What happened? How to go down?
Really quick before we end our episode tonight, first off, Heck, amazing poem again. Please, if you get the chance, post that to the Discord.
Sure.
Please.
FoXXii,
I want to read mine so bad, please.
FoXXii, if you don't mind, if you would also post yours to the Discord.
Amazing. Also amazing poem. So my brain is like losing adjectives at an alarming rate.
Speaking of, thank you, Streamlabs, for conveniently timing the Discord link. You can join our Discord
It does that
if you haven't
sometimes.
already. Let's see. Once again, Found Familiar Coffee. Can't advertise that enough. Scroll down. You can click on the link. Use TPK at checkout for 10% off your entire order. It's worth it, guys. It's worth it. Hey, TPK's TikTok has gotten off the ground, and we have content on it now. What?
Sounds fake to me. I don't know about that.
It's fake. It's not a real thing. So you don't have to worry about that. But if you do want to check it out and you do want to follow, it's TPK Roleplay on TikTok. We will be posting somewhat every day, maybe. I need to get on a better schedule, maybe. I don't know.
Content's being made at a pace.
Content is being made and posted to the TikTok. So go like, share, subscribe, ring that bell, and blah, blah, blah. And last thing, go support FoXXii.
Oh, wait. What?
I'll do it. Go do it.
You have less than 2 hours.
You have less than 2 hours. Get him over his followers count. Go and blow up Neon Lights Roleplay.
If not, I will send you a picture of Snickers' disappointed face, like this one.
Look at that face. Look at how sad that face is.
It's
do you
very
want that face
disappointing.
in your DMs? Do you really want that? You know what?
I will do it.
Listen, all I'm saying is I have been going absolutely just bonkers trying to get content ready for Neon Lights Roleplay, whether it's our new D&D campaign, Seven Sons. You guys are the first to hear about this, but we are doing a sort of setting where it's kind of like a rotating one-shots of kind of like a Space Men in Black thing in Starfinder. I've been talking about it a little bit over in TPK. We have that should launch if we're lucky by the end of this month. And specifically, we have a Discord you can find over our Twitch link. If you hop in the Discord, we'll be pulling players for the Space Men in Black one-shots from our Discord. So go on, hop in there. We literally, if you like poems, we drop poems in we have a channel in our Discord. We drop poems in and give fun feedback. So you want any of that? Come hang out with us. Come do some stuff. All kinds of goofy things happening over there. It'll be a great time. And yeah, if you guys get us to affiliate before the end of March, I promise you will see some. I'm gonna pop off. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild. I can't even explain.
Last thing before we end, on a more serious note, remember, support Black creators, amplify their voices, don't get in their way, and just be a good fucking person.
Amen. Being a good ally is being silent for those who do not have a voice. Do not speak for them. Simply give them the space to speak. And that goes beyond any other sort of spectrum or intersectional connection. Always, interrogate your own biases, interrogate your own privileges. Always be willing to say, this is a space where maybe I'm coming from this in the position of the privilege of the oppressor. Maybe rather than trying to speak or put my stance on this, I step back and let those who are affected by this, who are marginalized by this, who are hurt by this, who are suffering under this, speak and let themselves be heard. I promise you, you might be surprised at what the fuck we got to say.
Yeah. And remember that it doesn't end at midnight.
It's not.
This is Black History Month, but this is not a problem that we can just throw away. So
I'll be being very loud and very black all over Twitter timelines for the rest of the year and next year and the year after. So the block button's right there if you have a problem.
Go follow him.
Go follow Fox.
It's a beautiful
Go
thing to see.
follow me, and if you have a problem with that, the block button's right there. But trust and believe me, I'm gonna crack on you first, and you won't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But that is all we have for tonight.
Thank you guys
Foxy,
so much. So much fun.
Oh, thanks for being here.
Thank you again for being here. You were an incredible guest. And
literally anytime.
We hope to have you on again at some point.
Anytime. Tell me when. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, be sure to check out the rest of our incredible content that are coming up in the following weeks, months,
years to come, centuries.
It never ends.
Centuries.
I will upload my mind to a computer, and me making this show in perpetuity.
In the far future, I'll implant my consciousness into a computer. So I
will sit upon the golden throne.
I'll be a machine that just turns out politically charged sessions that people use. All right, tap into the FoXXii pewter. We need another awesome politically charged one shot. I'll print them out for you guys, and then we'll keep them going for years into perpetuity. You feel me?
You will take your seat upon the golden throne and be worshipped for all eternity. Praise be FoXXii.
Well,
but
amazing week.
So
amazing month, and let's get back at it starting tomorrow. All right.
Happy March.
Thank you.